the after show coverage of Survivor season 40 several, episode several. Holy shit, how did this happen? I'm Jonny Fairplay, Matt Bischoff on assignment. It's a pegging tour. We will not get into it now. Always joined by stand-up comedian Wayne Memmott. And holy moly, what has happened across the pond? There he is, our illustrious king, King George. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh. Thanks, Johnny. The pond is the Atlantic. I know you were in the United Kingdom recently. I'm just on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. I just noticed the Stevie thing, and I think that's why I came on for two reasons. I do like episode 7 in Survivor seasons, and I also just came to whore out my cameo. I'm coming 6 on the worldwide leaderboard, and what a great time to book me on Cameo. Ding!
I'm number 8. I'm number 8 on the cameo. Are there any other notables on the cameo, George?
Oh, there's a lot of people that think they're very popular and going to play again, but they're not getting very much support from the public. But let's not name names. Maybe we'll do it later in the podcast.
These are your Survivor cameo rankings. So George, you're 6, and Johnny, you're 8 of Survivor or of all cameo?
Of Survivor, and out of what is it? In the world, and what 260 of us.
From throughout the world, indeed. I do think I'm the top Australian on Cameo, just as a little flex. But yeah.
Well, yes, you are. But there's only like, there's like 260 survivors on Cameo, right? And we're like number 6 and 8.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, we'll take it. So, get a cameo from George or Jonny Fairplay. Either way,
or Jonny Fairplay,
you're not going to hurt either one of us feeling.
I might be coming to the US soon. We should do a special, double the price and split the money. Fairplay.
I love it. That's great. Get ready. Double cameos coming your way. So, well, previously on Survivor, this is narrated by Jeff Probst and not Rome this week. Before we go into the previously on, Rome was missed by me on this up. Am I the only one saying that? Because there were so many people like, oh my God, Rome's a bad guy. Get him out of here. And I'm just like, okay, I get you people saying that. I get you people not liking a bad guy because it's been forever. But when he's gone, you're going to miss him. Do we miss Rome?
We miss Rome, but I think I think that if Andy's tribe had lost, then we wouldn't have missed Rome as much.
I think what it is for me, I think what's made season 47 different from some of the, potatoes that were fried up in the new era, like including 46, which I think everyone knows, I think it was the worst season of Survivor I ever had to grit my teeth through. Unfortunately, that's the one I chose for a US Survivor party tour with you, Johnny. But someone like Rome was a really good storyteller. He was a fantastic storyteller. Whether his grasp of the story matched the reality of the ground in terms of what was happening or not are two different things. But he was a great storyteller and it made good TV. And overall, I think this episode was a little bit flat, aside from the ending. It wasn't bad to watch. It was literally better than anything I'd seen in season 46, which was a really low bar. But I think of the 7 episodes that have aired on 47 so far, this is probably kind of like my least favorite up until that kind of like heart-wrenching ending that we got. Because we lost one of the storytellers, basically.
Yeah, I agree. So I still thought this was a great episode, but I mean, the bar had been set so high this season, so which is good. And there I know there was worry, with in the new era, we've seen a lot of these seasons pick up post-merge, and this season has been so incredible pre-merge. It's like, can they sustain the momentum? Can it continue? And I felt, as you said, maybe a little flat, but I was still entertained. And so Rome, I know you're out there watching. You're missed. George?
No, that's it. Yeah, agree.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So previously on Survivor, Rome explains that he's a mastermind. All right. We're not sure if that worked out in the end. And we see that Sue actually pitched Andy as the backup plan, but Sam did co-sign this move. And it's night 12. Teeny is feeling good. Her stress is gone. The amulet's gone. We hate these BS Beware Advantage journey tokens that have been shown to negatively affect your game. All that's off the table. And guess what? It's time for Andy and Saul to have a convo, and Saul's got some work to do. Holy moly, is this the beginning I thought was absolute gold, because Saul walking back the only Andy vote and seemingly forming an alliance with Andy post conversation. I'm for all of this.
Well, I definitely agree with you, Johnny. It kind of like where you like to see raw emotion is at night after tribal council, and I think of the times that I've lived through. But it kind of reminded me a little bit of the time when I realized Haley was against me in my Heroes v Villains season, and that's when you kind of form like a real kind of like tight bond with someone. I think what would have been interesting was to see how the actual dynamic would have panned out, because I feel like Andy was ready to pounce in that episode to get rid of either Sam or Sierra. Thank God I remembered her name. So it's just like I feel like it was all set up for kind of like Andy to take control of the game, and then what happened in this episode was the rocks in the bag had a different kind of idea, and it went in the direction that it did for that middle bit. That was probably like the least interesting bit of the episode. It started strong, it ended strong, and the least interesting bit was kind of like that blue 5 dynamic until it all like blew up.
I agree. I feel like it was like they had this awesome episode all teed up. Everything was like ready to go, and then production's like, nah, we're gonna go back to 2 groups again and keep people safe and all that stuff. And it's like, no, that we want to see 12 people vote. We want to see, or 13 people vote. I don't want to see just a vote of 6 or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm here for at a merge. But
yeah, I've got a few thoughts on this, guys. Yeah, I've got a few thoughts on this, guys. So when you start the game, I agree with the philosophy that on a tribe of 6, you can get very interesting and dynamic gameplay. And I think I saw an article where Jeff actually came out and said that earlier on in the week. When you're dealing with 6 fresh people with no relationships and baggage, it can go in multiple directions, and 2 votes can be enough to vote someone out. Or 1 vote in, if a shot in the dark or an idol gets played or whatever. That's not the case when the relationship's bed in. So on a season like this, where they're at the halfway point, if you're going to have a 6 or 5 person vote, you're going to generally tighten up there, particularly when it's a surprise 6 or 5 person vote and you don't have like a day to plan anything what to do. So I think the gameplay would have been more dynamic if they just let the vote happen. But it seems like Jeff really likes potluck, randomly splitting people up, and then, the bag decided that entire former blue tribe was going to be together, and they probably had the least interesting dynamic of the 3 tribes pre-merge.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, you still split up into winning team gets to go on reward, the lose, and then like the winner from each group it gives immunity. So 2 people have immunity, and then everybody else is still in the tribe. Is
kind of up for grab.
Yeah, so there's 2 people that have immunity, and half of them still go get food, but then everybody comes back to tribal and votes. But they're in 2 different groups, so like you still have all these different conversations that can kind of happen quietly, plus advantages that can come into play.
Yeah. I don't know. I George, we're all fans of Australian Survivor here, and we love the 10 people, 12 people tribal councils, because it is, and when you start the game with 3 tribes of 6, that's the most you can have, and you're anticipating this merge so that you have these big number tribal councils, and to have that and then have it immediately pulled back away from you. It's like, oh, here's another 6. I'm like, oh my God, stop with the 6.
I think when you merge from 3 tribes to 1, there's an even higher likelihood that you're going to have multiple factions break away in different directions, and then you could have kind of like 3 options up for grabs, and then a surprise happen rather than that big cohesive merge vote. It's just like I feel like that was, if you're kind of like the producer sitting in their production tent, you've got to tell yourself, what do I think is going to happen next? They're introducing the idea of an all cross tribe women's alliance. I'm going to say it, as boring as that is sometimes. They're introducing the idea of it, and that would have been a cross-tribe alliance. Then you've got like a little bit of political dynamic on the red tribe, with Rome still in the game, for instance. And then once he leaves out of the game, you've got people vying for power, like Genevieve, someone like Teeny, someone like Rachel, who hasn't been in the numbers and wants to be a dominant player and might have the chance to do so in the future. And then you do have the dynamic that we saw at the end of this episode with Tiana and Gabe never being on the same page or seeing eye to eye, and then they you had all these kind of options, and then it just got whittled down to what we kind of got. When the new idea in this episode was Andy's about to take control of the game and show that he's not just a pawn that just gets pushed around and told what to do.
Right. Yeah. That was a story that they were set up to tell. And it was really interesting with pulling Genevieve and Saul, and then like Rachel wanting to be a player. You can see that her coming in, and now you've got 4 strong players to navigate a bunch of broken tribes. I mean,
well, I'm the Andy. If this is the Andy coming out episode, I'm all for it. And shout out to Andy's mom, Pam, our #1 supporter here on the podcast. I never thought I would give a mom shout out and not saying it in a not nice way. Pam, welcome aboard. So happy to have you here.
Love
our #1 fan, Andy's mom, Pam. So we see Andy is now woke from the Gata blindness, and he wants to make an alliance with people that are not throwing his name out there as a backup plan. And as a result, we get beautiful mind imagery. Bobby's got that clip. Here we go.
Last night really got my head spinning because I really feel like I invested in those relationships with Sam and Sierra on the early days of Gata, but I'm realizing that I am a third wheel and ultimately very expendable. Not even just at the end game, but even now.
Andy doing equations in the sand, I am for all day long. Or George, did you do equations in the sand, or are you more of a mental guy?
Now, I'm more of a mental guy. The only time I did those equations in the sand was the first time I played, and I think there was 5 of us left. And then the only time I did it was when I was convincing Haley that it was in both of our best interests to just stick together to the end. And we were plotting out the jury votes to think of how they were going to go. And it was like, oh, I've got Cara, I've got Baden. And then I remember her going, she scribbled out the Baden name. She's like, no, I've got Baden. And in my mind, I was like, oh, stupid Haley. Of course Baden's going to vote for me. We're close friends. And then obviously he didn't. But so it's just like, I can see why it works in terms of like a group brainstorming activity, and it makes an interesting scene like we saw. But yeah, I look at Andy, and I think the big question with Andy moving forward is how can he collect his thoughts without losing control? Because the most difficult thing to do in the game of Survivor, say he gets the chance to strike the next episode, okay? And he's going to go for either Sierra or Sam for whatever reason he'll decide, and then he'll have his enablers that, are supportive or encourage him to turn, and whatever happens. My whole question mark with Andy is, does he have the capacity to maintain control and to lead and to charge and to take charge and to lead? So a lot of American New Era players are frightened. They're shit scared of being seen as a target and being seen as a threat, and they revert to going under the radar, doing as little as possible, and then you get Kenzie win the show against 2 other goats, and it's as boring as anything. So I hope the revelation that Andy has is take charge of the game with 10 days to go and start slicing and dicing and get to the end and show why you're deserving of the crown.
Yeah, I mean, like we hear at the end of this episode, it's Caroline has the remark, and I find this the fatal flaw in the new era. Thank you. Caroline basically calls it in that new era is all about big moves for the sake of doing big moves that don't help you down the road, and we've seen this. Like, I mean, new era season after new era season, it's just like you got to have one big move on your resume going into the finale. And I was just like, why do you have to have one? Like, I had 8. What's wrong with 8 big moves? If you can ride through 8 big moves, you deserve the win. What's one?
Well, I mean, I think that there's two things. First of all, to George's on Andy, I want to say, like, the problem with Andy is he doesn't know how to be cool about it, you know? Like, he doesn't know how to, like, he could have this whole plan and everyone's going to see that his energy is like, I've got a plan energy, and it's not like they're going to see it. And I think if any success, it's going to be Genevieve's plan that they execute. And I think she's the one that's going to slice and dice through and prove her way to the end.
And I have no problem with Genevieve with the Andy meat shield.
Yeah, that's probably their best option. Also, there is a way to play without any big moves. Making it to the end, make a lot of friends. You know, I mean,
pish posh.
Wayne, it's what we've seen in 46, where no one's done anything and the least shit person wins.
That's the season I'm going to win. Season 51. Season 51. The one that nobody watches. 51.
Your whole speech is going to be, I am less shit than the other 2 people I'm standing next to.
Come on. That's what I'm going to do.
They deserve it less than I less deserve it.
Wow. Shots fired.
I'm making notes.
That'll be $10, and you get to touch his idol tattoo.
No, that's 50. I'm going to charge $50 to touch the idol tattoo now, and a tip.
Oh yeah. All right, so we see the Andy and Genevieve combo. I am for this all day long. If we're going to see Andy start this new brigade, and I would like to call the 2 of them. Because he does have a vision, and it's a sneak attack vision. But the 2 of them collectively, I like to refer to them as the Beautiful Smile Alliance. They both have very beautiful smiles.
I feel like Andy's a very attractive man. I just look at him and I'm just like,
we'll workshop it.
Nice.
I feel.
I'm not suggesting Genevieve's not an attractive woman, but I look at Andy, I'd be like, I want that eye candy in camp.
Yeah.
Hi, Pam. How are you
Day 13 is when Island Hot really kicked. Day 13 Island Hot really kicks in, and I can say right now, I think Andy, Genevieve, Sierra, their Island Hot is really kicking in right now.
I completely agree with you. It's a thing because like when I've watched back some of my seasons, I'm just like, oh my god, I am dripping there. If I was in a bar, I'd want to tap that.
Oh, George. Are we talking about yourself?
Yes.
I'm a happily married man, so I don't comment on who's attractive. I think all survivors are beautiful in their own way.
Well, can I name a couple that aren't? No.
Put me in the new era. Oh, come on. Sue's 45. She's a beautiful 45-year-old.
She is a beautiful 45-year-old young buck out there. So, all right. So Genevieve explains that her number 1 was Rome, and I'm just like, oh, all right. Well, I'm glad that we have that confirmed. Rome, you're missed. So not only by us, the viewers, but by Genevieve. So it's day 13. Sue has never played pickleball, and I'm shocked because that is the sport of the youth of today. And you feel that I would feel like spry 45-year-old Sue would have definitely picked up a pickleball racket by now. She was probably too busy skateboarding.
Look, I don't know why she thinks that's such a big thing. Like if I'm sitting on a jury, Sue's at the end, and then next minute she just drops, and I'm 57 years old. I'll be going, and
yeah, that's what we were thinking.
That's your big play.
Beautiful for 57, 58. So I mean, she literally looks like all of my mom's friends.
Yeah, she looks fit. Obviously she's a very successful businesswoman in the aviation industry. And then I caught up on the season recently. I was watching it with Jerry, and then let me tell you, Jerry, he thought that Sue was just like smoking hot fire. And when he found out that she flew planes and was a flight instructor as well, I was like, wow, that's a Will vote winner.
Oh my God. Are him and Pam still together?
Yes.
Did this end things? All
He's
right.
like,
Well,
George.
I am heading to Australia in March, and I was planning on staying with Jerry and Pam. Apparently, I'll be staying with Jerry and Sue now. This changes things.
They can wrestle over the joystick in the
during
cockpit.
The day and
flying planes at night.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be playing. We'll be skateboarding. What else are the kids doing these days? Parcheesi. I don't.
It's like I have no idea. I don't know, like TikTok or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Smoke weed.
Me and Sue will be doing TikTok dances. It's going to be really good. And Jerry will be semi-naked. It's great. So, Genevieve has tree mail. Haven't heard the word tree mail in quite some time on Survivor.
Really made a comeback this season.
Yeah. So welcome back, Tree Mail. And Rachel explains she's down with down for the women, and Teeny is also down for an all-women alliance. This thing could stand the test of the season, or 70 minutes.
Well, it didn't get up off the ground, did it, Fairplay?
Well,
I think maybe it would have.
It is literally 70 minutes later. This all women's alliance is over. 70 minutes.
Yeah. I just think, are they going to be like, we're being told this storyline for a reason. Every time something happens, it's for a reason when you're watching Survivor. So I look at that situation. Obviously, Teeny was very supportive of the idea. Great. It happens at least once in every single Survivor season, and then it either unfolds or people start thinking it's not in my interest to win the game, and then whatever happens. But someone like Teeny seemed very shocked when the safety without power was played secretly. She was the one that's constantly going, who did that? Who did that? Who did that? Maybe Teeny will get a little bit upset, either at Caroline, if she gets perceived as the one that drove that vote home, because I feel like that's what the episode was telling us, and Teeny will take it out on them on the next episode.
Yeah, I do want to address something. I was added on Twitter in the episode, and someone's like, they added me and Boston Rob and Tyson. They're just like, how can Teeny, who goes by they, them, ask for an all-women alliance, pick a lane or something like that? And screw off. Stop looking for a fight that's not there. And B, while we were doing the cast assessment episode, Matt Bischoff referred to Teeny as she and her, and just not thinking or overly thinking or anything like that. And I was just like, hey, we don't know, this is season. We don't know Teeny's pronouns. And Teeny was actually in the chat on the side. And Teeny's like, I go by they, them. I go by she, her. I go by anything. I don't care.
Yep.
So for that asshole on Twitter trying to start a fight, guess what? Teeny's cool. Relax. Yep. It's 2024. We're human beings. We're having fun. Stop attacking. We're good.
Good on you, Fairplay. It's always good to ask someone in the situation as well, rather than just make assumptions as well. But thank you for letting me know Teeny's pronouns.
Yeah. So, yes. So you're welcome. Apparently, they're everything. So, we love Teeny. We're a Teeny Stan podcast over here. I will say that. We're also a Rome Stan podcast. We have a bunch. We're Andy's mom Stan podcast.
Go Pam.
Apparently, I've been standing over Andy this morning.
Wow,
that's what you call it.
That's the Australian term.
Down under.
Don't listen to that part.
I think the problem with the all-female alliance taking off this episode is that the Tuku relationships overrode everything else in the end. Yeah. So it wasn't Caroline voting out another woman. It was Caroline voting out Tiana based off of their 13 days together.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that got I don't feel like that got explained at all, Wayne. Like I don't understand, apart from constantly forgetting that Caroline's in the game. I don't understand the issue between Caroline and Tiana. All this tells me about Caroline is whatever decisions that Caroline is making out there, if there are any, are not important to the short, the medium, or the end game storyline.
No, they're Sue's decisions, who are Gabe's decisions. That it's all Gabe. Gabe and Sue and Caroline are. This showed us that they're three tied tight together.
What's interesting is this was the most quiet episode for Sue.
And Gabe have the power.
This was the quietest episode for Sue. I don't look at Twitter and stuff like that, constantly, and I didn't during this episode as I was watching it very legally with my American Paramount Plus account. But I don't recall a subscribe to Paramount Plus. This is why I keep getting booked for work. But I don't recall a Sue confessional this episode, and I feel like Sue has had main character energy in the first 6 episodes of the season, and now, second merge episode, Sue is an afterthought. But what I do when I look at it through a very fine-tooth comb, I feel like the determinative factor for Caroline was when they showed the subtitles and Sue was like, the three of us will effing stick together no matter what. I feel like, right, Sue convinced Caroline there, and then Caroline is just the irrelevant afterthought again in this episode.
Yeah. Well, it's time for reward and immunity, and the Batman skeleton immunity necklace is back. George and Wayne, what are your thoughts on the Batman skeleton immunity necklace?
Worst immunity necklace.
Okay. I think it's fantastic.
I kind of love it.
I love it. It looks so dramatic.
Yeah,
it's just
you
that.
Wouldn't want that around your neck.
No, I want some elaborate beadwork. I want some cool. I want a skull. I want like a.
Well, there's a skull. It's Skull and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're just a Marvel guy. Is that the problem?
Yeah, I am.
I don't understand the thematic changes. We've had like Japanese sets and, paraphernalia, and then we've gone to like Batman. It's like, what does any of this have to do with the South Pacific or Fiji?
Well, as I was talking to a producer from House of Villains last night, what does a puzzle have to do with surviving?
Oh.
Just throwing that out there.
Sometimes you're in a temple and you got to figure out to put the bag of sand so you can pull the thing off at the right time. You can pull the idol
and then
off.
Do a puzzle? and then do a
sometimes
puzzle.
There's a slide puzzle there. Sometimes there's a slide puzzle to get the bag so that you can replace it at
Build
that
a vertical
time.
puzzle. Different strokes for different folks, eh?
Yeah, you have to build a vertical puzzle to get the Holy Grail. Duh. All right. I have not watched all the Indiana Joneses. I only watched the first 12. So I apologize. I didn't know. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So our reward immunity is balance beam, balance a ball on a pole over your head on a balance beam. 2 teams of 6 drawn at random, not like last week's schoolyard pick that was not shown, but peek behind the curtain. I did get some intel. Andy was the last one picked on the schoolyard pick.
Boo.
Boo! How is this pot, George? He would not have been your last pick.
No, it would have been my first pick. And then, but
Andy, I've seen you saw.
Like, we all watched that on replay on a GIF. But hi Pam again. When, like, did they show Andy deciding to sit out? Or because I just remember looking up, I was like, oh, he's not holding a stick.
Oh no, he was first out.
Oh, he was first out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
He did not sit out.
That.
Yeah, like seconds in, Andy was out. So, but the schoolyard pick last week, which they didn't show, but we were told it. They're like, we're going to do a good old fashioned schoolyard pick, and they didn't show it. It may have been a secret scene. I don't know. I was just told Andy was the last pick, and I was just like, you guys are assholes.
I don't know. I just look at that challenge, and I'm like, why were they allowed to rest the pole on their head? Like, if that was Australian Survivor, it would have been like, you know, you would have started on the smallest balance beam, the 3rd level, and it just would have got thinner and thinner with a vertical hold, not just rest it on your head and hope your hand doesn't shake too much. It's like, I wish I could do these American challenges.
My afro would have come in handy on this one. This is the challenge for me right here. So, so it's 2 teams of 6 random draw. One person, the person voted out doesn't make the jury. Very important stakes. Also, the reward is potato salad, corn, baby back ribs, beer, and soft drinks. George, this trumps Australian Survivor, this reward.
Oh, this was a great reward. I think some of the rewards have been a bit shit. That's probably the best way to describe them. But I would have gotten very excited at this reward. And I just loved, there was this one scene that I remember. It was just Soul just shoveling the potato salad in his mouth, and it just looks so creamy and delicious. And I'm just like, we love a cold potato salad that's been sitting in the sun of the South Pacific for at least an hour, waiting for them to arrive at the reward location.
Are you a potato salad guy? Wayne, you do?
Oh yeah, picnic salads of all types. Give them all to me.
I'm anti potato salad personally.
Oh, why? It's delicious.
I don't like. George, you a potato salad guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think at every family function I go to, there's always like a potato salad with like chives or whatever that green shit is on it. You know.
Sure, that's the relative I don't like. Whatever relative brings that, like I make a mental note. I'm just like, I will remember you Christmas. Like you get the re-gift. Yeah.
Well, good to know.
I guess I'm getting a re-gift because I love potato salad and I'm bringing it over.
All right. So serious implication.
Everybody send Jonny Fairplay all of your favorite potato salad recipes. Put them in the comments. Your favorite potato salad recipe. We want to see them here. Which one is going to convert Jonny Fairplay into liking potato salad?
I would love to be converted into liking potato salad.
Do you know
I will say this. As a kid, I hated deviled eggs. Yeah.
No, I was just going to...
I hated deviled eggs because... Yeah. Well, as a kid, I hated deviled eggs, but they always had pickles.
They
always had pickles in them, and I hated it. Like I like pickles, but not in my deviled eggs. Now I love deviled eggs minus pickles. So maybe there's something in potato salad that I don't like. So yes, please send me your potato salad recipe and like your best potatoes, and I will, if it's good, I'll be converted.
Well, what I was going to say was Fairplay would love to eat a potato salad whilst filming your cameo. And if you'd like to book it, book it.
The potato salad tier, $50. I'll make the potato salad recipe and I'll eat it while you do my cameo.
He'll do live reviews on Cameo, and then the entire profit will go to a Popeyes Wings fund when I visit Danville, Virginia in a month.
Yeah, George is here in a month. Get ready, folks. It's coming. So, let's see. Tuku and Rachel are one team and everyone else is the other team. And it's just like, oh, this could be bad TV. Yes. So, going into the commercial before the challenge, we get a confessional from Rachel, explaining like, hey, this kind of sucks. It's just me and the Tuku 5.
Oh, I
love this confessional right here.
I like the positioning of it, but I just think from a storytelling perspective, I was like, oh, something's going to happen. I now know it's not going to be her.
Yeah, that's fine, but I just like I like that in the moment confessional because like it's just like, wow, I wonder what Rachel's thinking being 1 with 5, and it's just like we get to hear what Rachel's thinking 1 with 5. I think that was a good. This isn't something we've seen previously, or if we have, I don't remember it.
So, do you know what I would have just? I think
that was good at it.
This is the most minor critique. So I'm watching that. I've seen every episode once, but I'm not kind of like going over storylines or whatever. And in my head, I was like, I just would have liked to have remembered in real time, was Rachel yellow or was Rachel red? I still don't know now.
She was yellow.
Was she?
She's yellow. I just told you.
Okay. This whole time I'm like, she was on red with Rome and Teeny.
One on the outside. She was the only one on the outside of the Annika vote. That Andy was so proud of. Andy loved that vote. That's Andy's favorite vote in the history of Survivor. And possibly Pam's. Hey Pam. So, all right, the challenge begins. Andy drops first, Rachel second. Sierra and Tiana are out during the transition. Saul drops, Sue drops. Gabe and Caroline are out. Sam's out. Kyle's out. Kyle wins immunity for the losers. And Teeny and Genevieve are the winners for the winning team. And they get the feast. And it's reward feast time. And the idol is literally sitting beside Saul this entire time. And I'm like, please, dear Lord, let Saul see this, but let's let it marinate.
So, I feel like I have free reign to go searching for an idol. I'm like looking, around the plates and everything, and so I'm like, ain't nothing here.
All right, Rachel sees herself between a rock and a hard place. Gabe sees Rachel as dangerous. And Sue's one of our only lines of the episode. She is watching. She's watching Rachel in case she finds an idol, and they all exclaim that Rachel's probably playing her shot in the dark. Tiana, possibly the smartest of the group at this moment, believes that puts a bullseye on Tuku. If they take out Rachel, they will all be next. And as a result, sees this as a good opportunity to blindside Gabe. I agree with Tiana's thinking. I just don't want Gabe to leave. Sorry, Tiana. I like Gabe. Gabe goes through tables at Buffalo Bills games. That's an easy way to win me over in wrestling references. It's very simple. And Kyle is open to a plan of blindsided Gabe and pitches to Rachel. And they just need Caroline. I'm just like. At this moment, I text Wayne, I text our producer, Bobby Goodsby, and I text George, Tiana's going home, to which Bobby and Wayne go, yep, and George goes, no, it's Gabe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Gabe's got a pretty lockdown on his 3 that are going to carry him through. I also think it's a little bit of a misread to say that if they stay 5 together, that they're going off one by one. Because yes, there's 6 versus 5, But that's just assuming that those 6 are just going to work together and not a single one of them is willing to split off at all, which I don't think is the case. So
it's similar to an all women's alliance,
right?
I actually did not agree with the thought track that Tiana had in that episode at that time. So we as the audience, having seen the episode, we know that the twist is coming, and then, you know, shock horror, I got played on Rachel as if anything else was going to happen. So like I tell myself, if the sometimes you have to step through the motions step by step. And if you think you're in a position of 5 and that 5 is the minority, you are the one that jumps ship at that next episode and then offers a sacrificial lamb. That actually gives you a huge degree of power. If the reverse doesn't happen, there are individual floaters around that you can pick up and build your majority, which is more my style when I'm in control. In saying that, I don't think there's anything Tiana could have done in this episode that changes the sequence of events. Because if Tiana just sits back at camp and goes, yeah, we're blue strong, you know, let's get rid of Rachel, and then the twist happens, she goes either way. I feel like Tiana's major folly was not actually understanding her political position in terms of the dynamic of the blue tribe. And when you know the cards are dealt against you, even if, you know, you're like, I'm guaranteed home and hose for one more vote, and then I might be in trouble. Like she had to have been thinking that when there were 5 people left, you know, or on her tribe originally, and obviously she had no read of the state of the play then, which is, okay, it's going to be me or Kyle kind of thing. So if Kyle's immune, that makes you next. Yeah, you've got to play the shot in the dark. This is what I'm getting to. If you're Tiana, you tell yourself the best case scenario is me, Caroline, and Kyle is 3 out of 5 votes. If I play my shot in the dark, it's a 2-2 split, and then in the revote, she doesn't have a vote anyway. But she seemed genuinely overwhelmed at what had happened at the tribal council. And in reverse, I was actually telling myself there's probably a equal argument for Gabe to play his shot in the dark at that tribal council. So Sue tells him, your name's coming up, don't panic. And he's got to tell himself, right, if I'm in the numbers, it's going to be the 4-1 vote. If I'm in the numbers and Kyle goes rogue or Caroline goes rogue, it's a 3-2 vote. I play my shot in the dark, we win the revote. Or if I'm not in the numbers, I go home. So it's just like the best thing about the new era is the shot in the dark, because it just gives you so many options of what you can and can't do in a tight dynamic like that. So unfortunately, like, yes, Jeff Probst mixes it up too much. You know, doesn't let a big vote happen in a small vote, thinks a dynamic gameplay happens when you've got extensive past relationships that hinder that dynamic gameplay. But it's just like the shot in the dark needed to get played there by Tiana and arguably by Gabe as well, because then that would have basically changed everything. And it's not it's not that Gabe shot in the dark where it's just like the most obvious thing in the world in a 13-person vote. Everyone's voting for this guy, and there's no backup vote, no nothing, you know?
Yeah. Would you ever play a shot in the dark, or or is that like putting insurance on your blackjack bet?
No, you play it. In a situation like that where you have nothing to lose, you play it. If you're in a if you're not 110% sure and you know it doesn't impact the outcome, you have equity value to play the shot in the dark. So it's the situation I just ran through. If Gabe is in the numbers still hold, because it'll go to a revote. Okay, so let's just do this hypothetical world for Tiana. Okay, Tiana thinks in her mind, she has to think at that scramble in the tribal council, it's her, Kyle, and Caroline, 3, and the other 2 are voting for her. She has to think that is her optimal situation at that scramble. So if the vote happens, that's her best case scenario. Her worst case scenario is one of them is rogue, either Kyle or Caroline, which she should have known after living with them for 2 weeks what the real dynamic is. So if she plays the shot in the dark in that scenario, she's a 1 in 5 chance of being safe. You know, the magic produces dice. If they want her to be safe, she'll be safe. So she's a 20% chance of being safe or higher. And the worst case scenario is it goes to a revote. She doesn't have her vote anyway in a revote. And then you put the maximum pressure on. Like, there is equity value in a scenario like that to play the shot in the dark. The alternate is there's always, if you're out there and you don't think you're a realistic chance of going home and you go home, you're just a fool. Like, you got to know that sometimes you're a 50% or greater chance of going home. And when you don't have an idol, when you've got a little dice in your backpack, that can be used aggressively and weaponized to change the dynamic of a tribe vote.
Yep. So it's King George, everybody.
Yeah, here is the mind of King George. Like, if you admire Andy's tracings in the sand, this is King George saying them out loud. There we go. There's a C equals, and I don't understand anything after that except when it's explained to me. I'm still perplexed on the fact, going back in time, when I meet George, I'm like, if there's 7 people and I want to vote someone out, it's 4 votes to 3, and George goes, no, it's 2-2-1-1. Oh, it's so easy. Why would you
2-2 is a good one.
4 votes is so difficult.
Fairplay. What about 3-3-1? Do they get you excited? Orchestrating a 3-3-1 vote? They're really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, who's to say? So, well, we're back at the feast. Saul is still beside the clue, and I'm just like, oh no. And we have Andy haphazardly looking for the advantage when everyone is not quite in the food coma. And Pam, boy, I believe we have that. There we go. And now it's time for Saul to start looking for the idol, and he's a little less transparent than Andy is looking. You know, Saul's just like, hey, I'm a bigger guy. I need a couple extra beverages or snacks or whatever. Everything's not gone. If so, I'm still double checking. Maybe I'll eat a little extra meat off that bone. And lo and behold, as he's looking, he goes back to his original spot, because Saul literally spent seconds looking, and goes, wow, there it is. And I'm just like, of anyone possible to get this advantage, Saul is the guy I want to get it. Are we in agreement on this?
This for me was the Saul.
It doesn't do anything.
No, was the Saul. This for me was the Saul breakout episode. So in terms of kind of character development, you've kind of had Saul as this person that's like the anti-Rome for a little bit. And now it's just like, I thought that was the most fun bit of the episode. I absolutely loved it. And now it makes me really like Saul more as a character on this TV show.
Me too. Wayne, where are you at on Saul?
Well, I've always liked Saul as a character. Him being the one. Yeah,
being the one finding it.
I mean, I think it's great.
See,
I like him. I mean, I don't really care who finds it, because it's kind of one of those advantages where it's like, I hope this helps me. Here you go, somebody. I'm saving you. Maybe you'll come back and tell everybody that I had this hidden advantage that I did, or whatever. Like,
is Saul gonna tell anyone that he gave it?
I was just about to say that.
You think?
I don't understand
George,
why
you think
he didn't.
He's gonna or shouldn't?
No, the real thing is, it's just like, what is going to happen if he actually owns a tribal council? So when you've got this new era mentality of all you need is one big move and then you win the game and you can do nothing else and you'll win, that's his big move. Put the check mark down there, get the tick in the box, and then You know, he might get voted out as an immunity threat, but there's nothing else screaming vote out Sol at the next tribal council.
Yeah, I didn't see the damage of him owning it. Like I felt like if he owned, because I think he is going to tell Rachel, and at some point Rachel's going to tell someone else. And I think there's more damage of him not telling everyone.
Correct. He looks like a liar. He looks sneaky. So rather than the optics of claiming it as a positive and then dealing with that positive afterwards or claiming it at the end, he's now turned it into a negative. It's just like, oh, he sneakily found this and we never even knew. And then it's like, do you know what he could have done? He walks off, he reads it, if he hadn't read it already, in a different location. So he's walked off with a camera, reads it, comes back to camp, and they're playing cricket or whatever they were playing, baseball with their coconuts.
Jesus. What is cricket? There's like crickets when I stomp on when they make their noise.
Whatever they were doing, Johnny. So it's just like, walk back into camp and be like, oh my God, I just found this, everyone. You know, I think I should save Rachel. Everyone would have gone, yeah, save Rachel. Yeah, great idea. You know, it actually would have been it's just like, if he wanted to cause maximum damage, if he wanted Rachel to go, he plays it secretly for like Gabe and then just acts dumb in camp. I have no idea. And then it's just like, he's had his moment for the TV audience, and then, you know, maybe in a week's time he can tell Gabe, I heard you were going and I saved you, you know, but like there's no loss of relationship by doing it then.
Yeah, I think Gabe would keep quiet. I feel like Rachel is so on the peripheral. She's not. I'm hoping, because I am a Saul fan, I'm hoping the episode 8 begins with they come back to camp and Saul owns it walking into camp. And then I feel like everything, he goes, I didn't want to take away from the moment, is the only reason I didn't say anything there at Tribal. This was Rachel's moment to walk away, and it was their moment to sort this out. And I didn't, and it wasn't about me, but I just want to claim this now. And I think Saul can walk away damage free from that if he does that.
What I find interesting, Johnny, is I see Jeff really copy-pasting a lot of ideas, particularly the good ones from Australian Survivor. And the thing that this reminded me most of was the hidden secret immunity idol that I played for Kara at a tribal council. In a more difficult circumstance, I had to use a key in my sleeve, open it in a very quick voting booth, not let anyone see, and play it for her. And then for like, you know, in the heat of the moment, I'm playing dumb. Oh my God, you know, and then it's just like, I've got Kara like staring at me going, oh my God, thank you. And I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Kara. And then, you know, I have to sneak off in the middle of the night and then hand her evidence. And then, you know, for 14 hours, I just denied it. And then Kara's story, you know, held. And then, you know, I had that Andrew person, you know, onto me, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to own it. You know, it's better I just own it than having this secret out there. But it's just like, you know, I feel like he should have owned it. So I hope he does exactly what you said. He walks back into camp at night and he owns it, and everyone's high-fiving him. And if his goal, which obviously it was to see the ex-Blue Tribe members self-destruct, then let them self-destruct. Mission accomplished. They're gone. They're broken.
I'm hoping he's thinking through, because I feel like he wants. I feel like he doesn't want to own it, but I'm hoping he's having an internal conversation. It's just like, this could blow up against me. This is all great. Everything's happening great. As I said, I feel like you can't walk away from it just like, look, this wasn't my moment. This was their moment. I let it play out, but yes, it was me. And I feel like Saul gets high fives, and that's it, and it's done.
That's it. Like you've got Teeny going, oh my God, you saved Rachel. You know, you'll have like Sierra, who's, you know, on paper good with Rachel, going, thank you. You know, Andy and Sam, I don't really care, but I'm glad one of the Blue Tribe members are gone. You know, it's like there's no loss of political capital by owning it.
Yeah. So, and Saul did hide it in his butt crack. Way to go, Saul. If you're, as Deadpool calls it, our man's coin purse.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
I need a vape after that. Thank you, Johnny.
I need to leave to start watching Deadpool movies. Apparently, no idea.
Oh.
Deadpool and Wolverine, you'll really love. I promise.
Oh, we all love Hugh Jackman.
Yes, Caroline thinks Rachel is the glue of the Gotta tribe. You have not been watching this season, Caroline.
I don't know about that. I feel like Rachel is a very lovely person that hasn't particularly done so much in the game so far. But
she's
I feel
lovable.
like,
and yeah,
I think if you were to write a novel, I'm going to be honest with all of you. If you were to write a novel, there is no difference in terms of like D characters and supporting, actors between Caroline and Rachel. They are the same person in a Survivor character story novel. If you're reading to kids about Survivor, you have your big characters, your controversial characters, and then you've got Rachel, and then you've got Caroline. But I think because Caroline, in Caroline's mind, thinks she's the biggest player in the game, she's like, I have to get rid of the person most similar to me, who's playing the same game as I am, just doing nothing, hiding in the middle, and hoping to do the boring copy-paste of Season 46, get to the end having done nothing, being generically pleasant to everyone, and then be called a genius. It gets you a win, but, it doesn't get you on Australia v. the World, doesn't,
Oh, no. Wow. Australia v. the World. I've heard about this animal. That sounds amazing.
We won't bring it up again, but like really that is kind of like that kind of gameplay. Yep. If you just want to win and you don't care about fan commentary and feedback and whatever, and you go, so suck my toe, I won. Great. If you want to be a legend of the game, be a legendary player. They're two different things. You can win being a legend. We've seen a lot of them. You could be the Adam Lambert style legend like Johnny is, like I am, which is why we're in the top 10 of the cameo leaderboard worldwide. Or you could be those winners that have done 2 cameos, or those memes that have done 1 cameo in a month. And they think they're shoo-ins for things like season 50 when, Australia v. the World casting happens. They don't even get a look in because everyone's like, who?
Wow, shots fired. Here we are. Yes. So Gabe pitches Caroline to Rachel, and so she won't play her shot in the dark. And Rachel's BS meter is off the charts. And I love that we're seeing Rachel, not Rachel be like, oh, well, this is another option. She's just like, this option sounds too good to be true and actually doesn't sound plausible in any fucking way.
Smart person.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I like that. Gabe hugs Rachel to seal the deal, and Jim Halpert's the camera. We haven't got a lot of these in Survivor, and I'm for it all day long.
You're for it? I thought that was cringe. I thought, if there's
I love a good Jim Halpert. So,
I don't know. Right, I feel like he was trying a bit too hard there.
Yeah. So, the winning team's playing baseball or cricket, whatever that is, and Saul is keeping his secret for now. And it's a block a vote or safety without power. And I'm just like, oh, please, dear God, don't use a block a vote. Are you kidding me? And the great thing is Rachel doesn't even read that line. She's like, oh, it's just safety with power. Goodbye. There wasn't an option. I did not have an option.
I don't know. The tinfoil hat George in me would be like, Jeff Probst is really unhappy with how this tribal council is about to go. I better put in a very obvious clue that'll save Rachel in a very obvious spot.
Yes, maybe Saul wasn't the person to put it beside if that was the case. Like maybe the camera guys are just like, hey Saul, I think there's more potato salad. Nope, I ate it all. Maybe there's a little more right behind you.
Oh my god!
No. I'm pretty sure I finished it all. Don't worry, guys. He keeps fighting them. No. Maybe there's an extra rib soft. No, I ate all those too. Don't worry. There's nothing behind me. No reason to turn around here at all.
I will not turn around.
No.
Oh, so it's a 13 tribal. That big statue is missing its head, and I noticed this early on in the season, and it really is really remarkable at this point. Could they have used Dwayne Wade's statue head on that statue? Would that have helped things? Oh yes, it's a small number post-merge tribe. Don't like it. Is there a crack in the 5? And I'm looking at my clock. We have a 20-minute tribal, and I'm just like,
I was like, why?
At this point, I don't hate it. Well, no, I don't hate it because I like them going through everything and then the winner. So Saul gives Rachel the scroll. It's to do with that. Her husband, Rachel's husband, told her, "Do not go home with anything in your pocket." And I'm like, well, what if she's coming home with $1 million?
Oh,
Nothing. You know the rules, Rachel. Nothing in your pocket, no matter what it is. Could be this oversized check. Hey, you know what? Oversized check doesn't fit in your pocket. Boom, loophole. Rachel, you're good.
So the second half of the Tribal Council was great TV, Johnny and Wayne. It was incredible TV. You could feel the drama. You could feel the tension. The twist really worked. But what Wayne, I would say, go on.
Wayne, do you have Tiana's speech for the second half of Tribal? I believe you have it handy.
If you had one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it or would you let it slip or whatever? She just started rapping Eminem. I don't think she knew that she was doing it, but she quoted Eminem's "Lose Yourself," Mom Spaghetti song, word for word.
Yeah, I was waiting for Mom Spaghetti the entire time, and I was just like, "Oh, I know this. This is Mom Spaghetti."
I'm very familiar with that quote. It was my senior quote in my yearbook. I can prove it I can prove it on the Patreon episode. I have it upstairs. I can go get it. So
used to write that in like people's yearbooks, or
no. Under my senior picture, you got to pick a quote, and my quote.
Oh, you were that guy?
I was that guy.
Oh my God, George, what was your quote in your yearbook?
That's an American thing. We just finish high school and then do stuff. But yeah, no.
You don't
what I was going to say. I just quote myself in real life. Just please help me, Jesus. I went to a Catholic school, but
smoke weed every day.
I think that's illegal in Australia. But the first half of that Tribal was a snooze fest. I'm sorry, it was. I think it was a typical American Survivor Tribal Council where everybody's so scared to say anything and they say nothing, and it's just like it was like I'm just watching this going, can we please get to the point? Can we get the advantage played so it gets interesting? And we were hearing about the hypotheticals that weren't real. I was like, come on. Like, the storytelling's been so much better this season. And then it's like...
I was okay with it in that storytelling. Like, you had the Tuku 5 with their confidence. So they're just like, this idiot is buying this fractured 5 shit. And then it's just like... safety of power, she's out, and then just like, so now what? And they're just like, we did not plan for any of this shit. This shit, because they were sitting there just like, hey, everything's fine today. Because I think I think they were just voting out Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel called it out. She's like, they all seem fractured, which is like, well, you're not, and I'm the vote. Like, she knew that she was the vote.
Yeah. Why would they tell you they're fractured? Like, they weren't. So,
no.
And I blame Gabe more than anyone, because I think Gabe laid it on so thick with the scenario that made so little sense. She was like, okay, they're both scenarios are bullshit.
I still think that if there was a way that Rachel potentially could have gotten Tiana out as a move on her own.
Yeah, but I don't think that was anyone's pitch. So
no,
she could have orchestrated, but she was just listening to pitches, and she was just like, okay, well, this all sucks. I'm playing my shot in the dark. It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen. Sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
And Jeff comes through and he's like, it's time to vote. And she goes, hey, Jeff, I've got this. I'm leaving. Peace. And she pieces out. Rachel's out. Now it's 5. We got him back.
George is back. Yeah, we missed
Do you know what
George.
we have in Australia? Really bad internet, everybody.
Well, talk to Elon Musk.
I've been so tempted to get onto Starlink. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, you're about to move to Danville, Virginia. You'll have Xfinity. You'll be fine. Relax.
Magnificent. But, yeah.
Okay, great. So, yes, continue, Wayne.
I don't know. I was just say like George was saying, the second part of Tribal was a great Tribal, and it was very much like you saw it on all their faces. They were very much like, "Oh no, what is happening now?" Like we were not prepared for this at all. At all. They were very sure Rachel didn't have an idol. It was going down, and it worked out great for this episode, and it kind of is like
the end. Yeah.
But the way they broke it all up, we would have gotten a really interesting tribal council kind of either way.
I think we could have cut a little bit from the start because it was great with the scrambling. And then what I'm looking at it going, get up off your seats and start talking to each other because they were a bit like sat down there. And then when Tiana was at the front and they start whispering in the back row, I'm like, yes, finally something. Yeah. We're getting an actual interesting live tribal council in the new era of American Survivor. That's not everyone says nothing and then you get voted out and you get angry at everyone in the world because you think you were the best player in Survivor history.
Yeah. Do you like a live tribal?
Yes.
As a viewer.
Absolutely.
I started initially. I didn't like a live tribal because because we couldn't hear what they were saying, and I was just like, well, this isn't fun for the viewer.
Don't they play the whispering, or they edit it out? You're right. Yeah.
I think it began with we just saw whispering and it was frustrating for the viewer, and then when they figured out that Jeff was allowing it and that they were and they started doing it more, then we got the closed captioning. We're just like, oh yeah, like this is good TV. Do not do this every tribal, everyone. Like you can have conversations before and work your shit out.
Yes and no. Sometimes you do need to have more conversations at tribal council. And if you don't have the capacity to speak in double tongue, then you get up and speak to someone, So it's
there's also dumb people that you have to literally, hey, like, when you were saying, like when I asked earlier, it's just like, hey, have you ever drawn it out? Like I literally on Pro Islands, I'm just like, hey, here's the vote. Like, I'm not sure. And I'm just like, okay, here's a stick, here's sand, here's the names. Okay, are we good? And please tell me I'm not mansplaining, because I'm not trying to mansplain. And that wasn't even a word in 2003, but whatever the fucking workaround was, I fucking said it.
But no, it was a very, an emotional exit like that, I felt the devastation of Tiana. Yes. I was like, this was so heartbreaking. It reminded me when, we blindsided good old Stevie, and then it was just, he was so heartbroken and shocked. You could tell he was walking the slowest walk out you've ever seen in your life, and he was crying. So that's what that literally reminded me of. You compared it to what we've seen in 2 of the last 3 seasons, that Kelly person and the Annika who went a few weeks ago, where they are not big characters in the game, either from a TV perspective or a gameplay perspective, but in their own minds, that doesn't match reality. They have, they think they're the favorites to win, and they deserve it more than anybody else. And they get angry at the people because it becomes this, I deserved it more than you, and that's why you can all get stuff. Like, when I see comments online when it's like, oh, it's better than everyone clapping and hugging, that becomes kind of like a sportsmanship factor for me. And maybe this is like an Australian cultural thing where we look at things differently, but it's like, you lose on the football field, you lost. Can still be heated after the game, but you shake hands at the end of the game, and then you leave, and then you do analysis after the game and whatnot. I think it's just like, it's disrespectful to the game and the people that you're playing with. And in Survivor, you've lived with these people for X number of days to go off in such an angry manner because you're more worthy than they are, and how dare they vote you out. Have that reaction if you're Boston Rob being voted off at a second tribal council, or Tony or Sandra, or, these huge legendary winners, that if they ever play again and it happens to them, then you can get angry. You're entitled to it. You've got the track record to back it up. Not when you're some first time kind of like poor casting decision off the street that's the same as 50 of the last 110 people that have played, and you think your shit don't stink in your own world.
I love Tiana on this. I wish I had seen more of that Tiana throughout the season that I saw at the end, because I was heartbroken.
I felt the heartbreak. I think it's a fine line. I don't feel like she was angry. She was more heartbroken.
Yeah, I'm a Gabe guy, so I was rooting for Gabe to stay, but I saw what it meant, and it wasn't, I deserve this more than you. I just wanted this, and that for me as a viewer and as a fan and as a survivor, I'm just like, I get that, and I love that.
7th person voted out of Survivor 47. Tiana, that's 3. That's enough. Need to bring me a torch.
The heartbreak is different to the anger. The heartbreak I feel for. I've played as well, but if you take it from the fans kind of perspective, you might get one chance to play, and you could have been applying for years or been watching the show for more than 20 years, and then you think you're good, and then a twist happens that you have no control over, drops unexpectedly. You were fine but for that twist, and your own personal goal was to make the jury, and you don't. I feel for the heartbreak. I feel for it, and I feel like the audience connects with that heartbreak, not just unleashing anger out at everyone around you. Like, it's great, we watched it, but then it's just like you're just remembered as this angry person that got voted out and didn't leave a legacy in the game. Right. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, you got a meme.
Yeah, and that's it. And 2 cameos a month.
Andy does not like awkward crying. I don't know if anyone caught that, but he's like, "Oh, you got that? She's crying." It's just like, "Oh, Andy, not a good look."
Andy.
You were doing so good this episode. You did the equation in the sand. You started the beautiful Smile Alliance. Saul's in there too. And next time on Survivor, it looks like Andy's reeling in Caroline, who just joined the cast. So
every time you say Caroline, I think of that memorable one from 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, I think we would all prefer her to be there. Oh my God, she does a podcast, and she had Hatch on her podcast this week. Yeah, Jen Hoffman and I had Hatch on to talk about House of Villains this week on the House of Villains podcast, and not Caroline, but Carolyn. I love Carolyn, but wow, does she have a like I can't imagine listening to an audio podcast like just audio because visually it's just like you put all the pieces together and it's just like, oh, it's Carolyn, she's crazy and fun. I love Carolyn, but just imagine like I go to sleep listening to podcasts, and that's probably why I'm referencing this. Sleeping to Carolyn, holy moly! Like the nightmares I would have. But Carolyn, I love you. Everyone, check out their podcast. She's doing an amazing job, but I just had to reference it. But
to be fair to her, I think she's like in the top 5 in the cameo leaderboard. So like someone like her has had cut through in legacy because she cuts against the grain. It's not the cookie cutter casting.
She's so fun. She's literally one of my favorite Survivor, ever. So, but I just want to say, like audio wise, I'm just like, wow, Carolyn, have you heard you? It's something spectacular. So, next week on Survivor, it is the auction. It is back. Everyone wants it. Big fan. George, you love the auction?
We love the auction. You got to hold off on the auction. This is how it works. You hold off. The first covered item, it's not an advantage. It's an onion. Then you've got to gamble between the second and the third one, telling yourself it could end at any minute. And then, fortunately, my gamble won me $60,000. Woohoo!
Well, there we go. Ooh. So, and then we had the vote reveal, and even Kyle voted Tiana. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Is that a wow?
I thought it was going to be a 3-2 vote. I thought Kyle and Tiana, based on the edit, I thought Kyle and Tiana were together.
I told myself it's either going to be 3-2 and Gabe goes home, or it's unanimous on Tiana. I didn't see the other situation.
Kyle's classic floater. He's going to win enough immunity challenges to kind of float his way, and it's just not going to fall right for him. But he's going to follow the votes. He knew Caroline and Sue weren't separating, and they were with Gabe, so he just wanted to go where they're going.
Can I just say 47 has been such a huge improvement on so many facets, but Kyle is the weakest cast member on this entire cast. He is sleep-inducing. Sleep-inducing.
I agree and disagree with you, George. I don't feel we've gotten a dynamic performance from Kyle. However, the country boy archetype,
was
a
casting decision, bad outcome.
That was a staple of old school Survivor that I'm glad is back. I want a country boy and I want a crazy person. I want I want equal representation on all counts, not just on 1/3
Lion Rachel's and times them by 8,
Yeah, right. I want everything. So I felt the casting move of a country boy was
great decision for execution.
I don't need 12. I don't need 4. I need 1. I think that's great. So we got that, but and who's to say what they're showing and not showing? We're seeing the immunity necklaces, but that's not enough for the character. I want a little more of the character.
There's just no person. Do you know what he's missing, Johnny? He's missing the personality of that country American charm.
Yeah.
So he looks like a, like
he looks like
country
JT,
bumpkin. Yeah.
but I want JT.
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
I want the just some kind of personality. Like there's just nothing there. When he talks on camera in his confessionals, I'm just like, it's literal. Like I'm looking at the screen behind me, like with less emotion. Like it's like there's no like head bob or anything. It's just
I want the all G shucks.
Yeah, correct. Exactly right. It's just a crude description. The sky is blue and there are clouds in the sky. Yesterday, as
I said, you don't have to tell me anything, but just give me a couple all G shucks. And I'm like, all right, there we go. That's my guy.
Yeah.
All G shuck.
Yeah. How y'all doing? Anything.
How y'all doing?
How y'all?
George loves you.
That's nice, y'all.
There we go. King George would like to do Kyle's confessionals for him. George literally wakes me up in the middle, like every morning. I get a WhatsApp call from is like, that's nice. Wow. How y'all?
How y'all going, y'all? I just keep thinking, not only from being to like Danville before, but I just constantly think of Sandra, who I know doesn't live too far away from you. So, you know, North Carolina, Virginia thing. Where it's just like, you ever meet Sandra, you come meet her at Hearts of Reality. We'll do shots together, me and Sandra, with you, Fairplay, as well. For the record, I'm sure everybody knows, but Johnny's my second favorite ever Survivor player after Sandra.
Second.
Yeah.
I had the book to prove that.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm just joking. But like, do you know what Sandra always says? That's nice. It's just like,
that's not, yeah.
That's
you
nice.
meet Sandra, you get a one-on-one experience with Sandra, and you think you're the most important person in her life at that moment. And like she's like, you know, tell me about yourself, and you know, and they'll go on and on and on and on and on.
And then she's not listening, and she ends up going, "That's nice."
That's nice. And then that's it. And it's like, okay, and it's out. But if you really pay attention when he's talking to other survivors, and you're just like, oh my God, like, you know, here's this big, you know, it's finally, you know, the Golden God and Sandra or King George, you know, whoever it is, you're like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's nice. The same. It doesn't matter if you're a fan that paid $10 or King George, you get a that's nice and she's out.
Oh, fair play. That's nice.
So with that, Wayne Memmott, where can everybody find you on the socials?
Online at Wayne Memmott. Instagram's the best way to follow me. That's the one that helps me out the best. So follow me on Instagram, like my stuff. If you're in Cincinnati, come to a comedy show. I'm at the Comet every single Saturday, and I got other stuff coming up. Big one. I will announce it because it's kind of
please.
We're doing a show this Friday and on November 22nd at Northwood Cider Company, raising money and collecting coats for Asheville, North Carolina. Our friend Model Face Comedy runs comedy in North Carolina. All of their equipment was destroyed, so we're raising money for that. They also said that it's cold and they don't have coats, so we're collecting a whole bunch of coats, and we're going to send them down to North Carolina. So that's at Northwood Cider Company. You can get tickets at bombsawaycomedy.com. If you're in Cincinnati, come out and laugh for a cause. Help our friends in North Carolina.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. That was really cool, Wayne.
Yeah.
And George, what's your cameo?
Yeah, find my cameo link and you can buy my book, How to Win Friends and Manipulate People, where you'll hear lots of fun survivor stories and learn the tips of the trade on how to skew the odds in your favor in your life at King George of Bankstown on Instagram. There's the book.
In case you're wondering.
What did I write for you? I don't remember.
Let's see.
Did I write my favorite dickhead?
Yeah, sure, close. No, I'm not on your Grindr loop. My OG favorite supervillain. I'm lucky to call you a friend.
That's very nice.
Oh, that's cute.
I should have put in brackets.
Favorite.
I should have put in brackets. When I was a kid, I loved Sandra more than you, but you're still okay.
Yeah, I thought you were going to put in. I thought you were going to put in quotation marks, friend. So, I won that lottery. So yes, George, what's your Instagram?
At King George of Bankstown.
at King George Bankstown. Everybody give George a follow. Check the and I guarantee in his links you will find a link to his cameo.
You definitely do.
George is currently number 6.
I'd love to get to 5. I'd love to overtake Parvati. There's no particular reason why. I just do.
I would love to overtake Parvati as well. I'm number 8, so I have to climb over George to get to Parvati. We'll see what happens.
Now I kind of want a cameo from Parvati.
No!
Now I kind of want a cameo from Parvati.
Why would you help her?
Yeah, she's never doing this podcast, Wayne. I assure you. She's never promoting bombsawaycomedy.com.
No, that's fine.
Still okay. Still okay. All right. I'm guessing she phones it in. Anyway, I'm at Jonny Fairplay, no H in Johnny. Get a cameo from me, cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay. And if you love the podcast, want to support the podcast, go to realitypatron.com. That's realitypatron.com. If you hate commercials, and we all do, geez Louise, pray to Macedonian Jesus, they go away. Or even better yet, realitypatron.com. Any price level, you get every episode of this podcast, commercial-free audio and video. So simple.
Huge.
Realitypatron.com. Also, we have autographed picks every month. We got some really good ones coming up. We have some really good ones right now. So go to realitypatron.com. Those go out monthly. And I am going to be this Saturday. Apparently, it's no longer a secret. It was a secret. This Saturday, November 2nd, I'm in Chapel Hill, UNC. They're doing a Survivor beach party viewing thing or whatever. And I will be joined by Rob C., Sandra Diaz-Twine, Jane Bright, and others.
Dang.
So apparently tickets went, it was free. And so they were made available earlier today, and 3,200 tickets were sold out in seconds. So I will be there. It's this Saturday, 6:30, UNC Chapel Hill. Go Tar Heels. I will be rocking some Carolina blue because I represent, and I'm sure these other fucks have no idea. So I'll be the ones in the very expensive Jordan 1s representing. So
what are you doing there? Watching an episode?
I guess. I don't really know. I peek behind the curtain. Information has been very limited.
Johnny's like, how much? How far? I'm there. That's it. That's all he knows. He knows how much and how far.
I got a new watch. I'm happy. Larvey, thank you. There we go. We're good. So I will be in Chapel Hill. I'm excited. I love Jane and Sandra. It's no secret. We do a lot of stuff together. I have not seen Rob C in years, and I'm super excited. I consider Rob C a friend. For those of you wondering, watch the Carolyn podcast. Watch the Kelly Whitworth podcast. Watch the Wendell podcast. Watch the Rob C. Support all. We're a family. We all went through this journey together, and we're all friends. We're all a community, and more importantly, we're all a family. And so super excited. Rob has a podcast. Love you. Love those guys. Everybody support one another. And I will be me and Rob C. first time in years hanging out this Saturday at the Survivor Beach Drop in Chapel Hill. It'll be a moment for everyone.
Woohoo!
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.